What is up, everybody? It's the Golf on CBS preview show. Patrick, we got nothing to preview. We're just looking back, my friend. The golf season is over. Before we get into everything that happened, I do want to start right here. You did something amazing last week on the show. You did this whole kind of rant, theory, take on the big boys of the Ryder Cuppers. You went with the Americans not having a lot, the Europeans having a ton. You included Tommy Fleetwood.
Yes.
Our great producer, Josh, threw that together, threw it up on the TikToks and the Instagrams. It did great numbers. But people were coming after you about putting Tommy Fleetwood up there as a big boy. It's your turn to take the victory lap, young man.
Yes, the big boy barometer. And Shane, I'm not one to get involved in the comments often. I don't look at them too much, but they threw me over the fire, it felt like, with the Tommy Fleetwood take. People calling me a casual, which I don't take lightly to. I'm not saying
a casual.
I'm not saying I know the most ball, but I do know some ball when it comes to this game of golf. And so last night I had a late coffee around 3 p.m., still had some energy going after that tournament when Tommy Fleetwood naturally became the number one player in the world in terms of FedEx Cup standings by winning the season-long race. And
For the rest of the year, yep.
I just replied simply to all the comments. There were maybe 100 between the TikTok and the Instagram. FedEx Cup champ to every single one of them. And I think that is a rebuttal I'm going to start using more. Taste it. Very good, I think.
It's a great rebuttal. It's a great way to go after people. Obviously, when you're on this side of the camera, if you will, you don't throw a lot of barbs that often because you kind of get the barbs thrown your way. People on the old social media is just not as nice maybe as they used to be. Maybe we just see it more often. But yeah, they didn't love you having Tommy there, which is ironic because Tommy Fleetwood, I believe, has been either the third or fourth best golfer in the world this year. He's been incredible. We're going to get into some of the numbers here in a little bit. To say he hasn't been that great is insane. We're going to do something, by the way. We're going to have a Wednesday show as well, kind of a shorter show where we react to the Ryder Cup captain's picks in the 12 on 12, where we're going to power rank all 24 of the players and see how many Euros are in that top 5, 6, 7 position. I mean, Tommy Fleetwood's, in my opinion, in a top 3 position there of all of the Ryder Cuppers right now in terms of the way he's playing. So you could even go after some of the other names you included in the big boy barometer.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, the fact that they picked Tommy out of all the people, he doesn't win, sure, but he's good in the Ryder Cup, and also he finishes top, 2, 3, 4 on the leaderboards quite often, and that isn't nothing.
Yeah, come after me for Justin Rose, honestly. Come after me for someone else. Someone came after me for Bryson, Shane, and I thought the reasoning
he's literally and figuratively a big boy.
And I thought the reasoning was some of the best reasoning I've seen this entire Ryder Cup cycle, where he said Bryson was a no-show in that match with Brooks against Rory and Scotty last winter.
Wow.
And that wasn't even factored into my models.
Exhibition.
Not even factored into my models. I'm clearly overlooking it. That's why I'm saying I don't know the most ball. I know some ball. And so, look, come after me for Bryson potentially not playing well in that match. Justin Rose, fine. Hovland, you can even get after me for. But Tommy, certified big boy.
Tommy Fleetwood wins the Tour Championship. He wins the FedEx Cup. It was very impressive stuff from Tommy Fleetwood, I thought, throughout. We're going to get into a little East Lake stuff in a bit. But I just wanted to go through this because obviously, they went, they were talking about changing the format, back to the format. I don't know how you kind of categorize it necessarily with the way it went. I mean, everybody started the same as they start every other stroke play golf tournament in the world. But in terms of the playoffs, Tommy went T3, T4 win. Scotty went T3 win, T4. And those were the two best players in the playoffs, finished exactly the same in terms of those three finishing positions in those events. Tommy got through 15, didn't hit it in the water. That was kind of all you had to do at East Lake coming down the stretch. And drives the ball so well. Iron play obviously is extremely elite, one of the best iron players in the world. The thing to me this season with Tommy, Patrick, is the short 4-footers, kind of the pull misses, didn't have really any of those throughout the week. And it just seemed like we were trending in this direction. I mean, it seemed like he was going to win at some point, and he just waited to the last event of the year to do so. And yeah, I mean, I'm happy it happened. I will say, can I say this, Patrick?
Yeah.
There were some crazy things thrown out that I heard over the course of this Sunday. Comps to Rory winning at Augusta, which I thought was a little insane. I heard comps to the fans walking up 18 to Tiger in 2018. Yeah. Maybe not so much here.
I love it.
But social media was a buzz. Everybody was rooting for this guy, and he got it done. And it was impressive in the way he got it done. And Tommy Fleetwood finally wins on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, won it for his guy, LeBron James, who was in his corner, which you just absolutely love to see the king getting after it. And you bring up the putter, switch to the spider, I believe, at Harbortown, week after the Masters. And the 2 weeks before that, he lost 4 strokes on the greens at both San Antonio and Augusta National, was kind of middling. And then really ever since that has turned into a completely different guy with the putter in hand. First time in his career, he's going to clip the 2 strokes gained per round in his career. His previous best season, it looked like, was honestly his first season on the PGA Tour, which is back in 2018. That's when he almost won the U.S. Open with that final round at Shinnecock. But yeah, like you mentioned, probably the most well-rounded we've ever seen Tommy Fleetwood, and especially with the putter shoring up that club, which has honestly given him bugaboos just even going back to that putt at the St. Jude Championship on the 71st hole.
Yeah, and the Travelers. Misses that shorty at the Travelers as well when he was kind of in between clubs there at the 18th. But, again, Tommy continued to kind of beat the drum. Let me get myself in these positions. I comped him, I think, a few weeks ago, Patrick, to the late Payne Stewart. I could see that kind of be the progression of his career going forward. I think Tommy will win a major championship. You look at where the U.S. Open is next year. Obviously played extremely well there. The last time the U.S. Open was at Shinnecock Hills. I think he's going to be my pick as long as he's playing decent golf when we get to next summer to win there. But you look at Tommy's record in the majors, especially the Opens, always kind of hanging around. And I just think that when you finally get the victory, you kind of saw it on his face after the tee shot on 18. He was determined. He was dialed in, but obviously there was a lot of relief there. And then a shout out to the Euros. I think Kyle Porter might have tweeted this, something about the numbers. All those guys are out there videoing him finishing on 18. You think about Rory's win at Augusta and all those European players kind of standing around there as he was walking up there after the last putt went in on the playoff. They root for their guys. They love their guys. Tommy is an extremely popular player. Shout out Tron for flying out and watching the whole thing finish up there as well. You had Barstool Big Cat on the back of Tommy Fleetwood this week. It was kind of across the board. Caitlin Clark, LeBron, Big Cat, Tron, us. Who wasn't rooting for him? I thought Sky Van Pelt had a great tweet about it as well. It's easy to root for the good guys. Tommy's obviously a good guy. And above all of that, it wasn't a fluke, right? I mentioned the finishes in the playoffs, but really the entire season, it felt like he was floating around that top 10 position. And I'm just happy he got it done. I'm glad he didn't have to wait a whole another year to get back to trying to grind one of these out.
Yeah, and I think all the noise around the Tommy Fleetwood conversation was obviously not being able to win. But to your point, before this year, had he really given himself good opportunities to actually win? He has 4 54-hole leads now in his career. 3 of those came in the past few months.
Right.
Between the Travelers, St. Jude, and this week. And so only one other between his career since the beginning of 2018. That's not a whole lot for someone of Tommy Fleetwood's caliber. So, yeah, I think we knew the golf community was behind him, both far and near, when on the first tee, he's going against Atlanta's son, Patrick Cantlay, a man who brought a championship.
Huge Atlanta guy.
To Arthur Blank and his franchises, and first tee erupts for Tommy Fleetwood, and like mice scurrying for Patrick Cantlay. And I that was shocking. That was a shocking development to me, but Tommy Fleetwood clearly transcends sports, whereas Cantlay, I guess technically does too with the TGL, but just wasn't really up for it, which I was surprised from Atlanta. It's a what have you done for me lately type of town, I guess.
Yeah, that's probably right. Patrick, I'm not, you and I aren't really ones to sit on this show and critique golf courses. It's not really been something we've done a lot this year with our new show. I'm not an enormous East Lake guy. I think it's totally fine. I think it's a historic golf course with a lot of history there. It's not the most exciting golf course. That being said, It's a golf course that if you're trying to win for the first time and you kind of have a history, especially a recent history of choking down the stretch, it might be one of the best golf courses to try to close out a tournament the last 3 holes. Once you hit the shot on 15, there's no real trouble. And even 15, and we'll get into the par 3 in a sec, even 15, if you rinse it, you drop and hit a wedge. And I said this on Twitter, I wish 15 was a forced replay, redrop, re-tee. I think it would be way more exciting. I hate the fact you get to walk up and drop it. I actually have another idea for par 3s, and I think the professional golf landscape should adopt this. If you hit it in the water on 15, I think you have to go back, not forward. I think you got to go back to the back tee now, and now have to hit it from 235. Going forward is silly. You made a mistake, and now you got to go hit a 100-yard shot. Everybody that rinsed it, Keegan rinsed it. You saw those guys go up there. They all hit the same shot. Scotty, they hit it 12 feet below the hole and have a 12-footer for bogey. But when you get through 15, there's no trouble. I wrote this on Twitter. I think there was one double on 17 and 18 combined in that final round. You have a 3-shot lead unless Cantlay dunks a wedge or makes the eagle on 18, which I don't think there were a single eagle on 18 in that final round. It's curtains once you get through 15.
Yeah, it's not my favorite golf course at all. And to your point, I had some of my friends who casually follow golf text me and be like, this golf course stinks, which
one par 5 on the back and it's 18.
18,
you know, it's just,
everyone's making the same score pretty much. To your point,
everywhere.
Ideal golf course finishing stretch. And I mean, 15 was the most exciting hole on the back 9 probably, but equally the stupidest hole on the back 9 also, where guys would hit great shots and just get completely boned this weekend.
Yep.
So obviously some rumors that the Tour Championship might be making its rounds here, maybe not next year or whenever the contract's up, but in the future. And I think it makes all the sense in the world, especially with East Lake being what it is, even after this restoration.
I mean, just East Lake's just not it. Like East Lake to me it's a punishing, challenging course at times. I mean, for these guys, not so much. I guess if you made it the rough extremely juicy and didn't have rain all the time, but you have rain all the time this time of year in Atlanta. That's how Atlanta works. I mean, there are evening and afternoon thunderstorms. It'd be like if they played the Players right now, right? I mean, you're going to get those pop-up thunderstorms in Jacksonville this time of year every single afternoon. And the golf course at this event to me might matter the most. 30 players, you're kind of racing to this finish. You want it to be exciting. It's got to be exciting. I think about TPC Scottsdale. Basically after the 10th hole, every hole is relatively exciting, right? There are so many golf courses out there where you could see volatility. You could see eagles and you could see birdies. And to your point, and I thought you nailed it, you just see a lot of pars on the back, right? Yeah. You hit it in the fairway. You might have 5-iron if the hole's long, and you have wedge if it's not. And there's just not a lot of drama in that world, in that space. And again, only one par 5 and it being 18, and the green running horizontal versus vertical doesn't make it that exciting. Like, put the pin in the middle of the green on Sunday, where at least we could see somebody hit it 5 feet and make eagle. I think this golf course deserves a spot on the calendar. To me, it's kind of Muirfield Village, right? It's demanding and it's challenging, and it's not the most exciting golf course in the world, and that's okay. But it can't be the dessert of your meal. If you're going out on your anniversary dinner and the dessert stinks, you're going to remember the dessert. And that's what this is. It's bad dessert to finish off the year.
It's a flan or something.
Yeah, like a bad flan.
A bad flan. And look, to the
Is there a good flan, by the way? Is there a flan that's good?
I've never had a flan. I just found out there's a flan emoji though. So that's why it was top of mind.
Can you send it to me after we get done with this?
I can. But to your point, or at least to the PGA Tour's credit, they tried to add some juice to the golf course. For sure. Right?
I'm not faulting them.
Yeah, they grew out the rough. Well, guess what? You had preferred lies all 4 days. on number 8 in particular, kind of to your 15 point, when they try to make it drivable over the weekend, you hit it in the water. It's an easy up and down for par.
You make par.
Yeah.
You're not making double.
No. And so it's like that hole is just not a drivable par 4. That's not how it was intended to be played. And so it's just a pretty meh golf course, Muirfield Village with a southern twang, like Sweet Tea or whatever. And so, yeah, deserves a spot on the calendar, sure. As your Super Bowl venue, maybe not.
Can't be it. Cannot be it. Anything else from the week? I mean, Scotty was whatever. A couple of bad golf swings. Scotty looks tired.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just how much more can you throw into the season? Scotty with another incredible year. We'll get to some. We've got some categories. Producer Josh threw together an incredible list, by the way. Shout out to Josh for what he did late last night. Serious work, Tommy Fleetwood level work. And he's kind of been the Tommy Fleetwood of this show, by the way, throughout the 2025 season. But we're going to give some awards for the full season in just a bit. But just a couple of takeaways for me was Scotty looked really tired. Rory, like, is Rory alive? Like, is he a living, breathing human?
To your point about the Europeans all coming together, being there on 18 for Tommy Fleetwood. Meanwhile, Rory McIlroy is center court, Arthur Ashe Stadium, watching Djokovic with Harry Diamond, which looking like Mr. Bean or Jeremy Strong from Succession with the new haircut. He needs that hair to grow fast for the Ryder Cup.
Back.
He needs.
I mean, you got a lot of money. There's got to be a science or a sauce you can throw on that stuff and at least get the top part back. But that was maybe one of the worst decisions in a year post Masters that didn't have a lot of great decisions involved. Was the Rory head shave? But like, have you, Josh? Can you pull up Rory's basically results since let's call it Augusta? I mean, that's probably right. Played well at the Scottish. I think he was in the hunt there. Maybe finished a couple of back at Goddard. That's kind of it. I
mean,
he sleptwalked to a couple top tens and stuff, but it has not been good.
Yeah, Travelers Scottish Open, 3 straight top tens off the top of my mind. And that followed the final round at Oakmont, where I think he had the low round of the day, drove it better. But
vintage, like 5 year ago Rory, right? Where he plays great after he just made the cut.
Yeah, but just seems like he's been sleepwalking for the past month or so, not really engaged. And I don't really know what happened with him this week, but maybe one eye on events that matter to him, like the BMW PGA and the Irish Open, and one eye on the Ryder Cup. That's the only thing that can come to mind.
Another observation I had, Sepp went 65-77. Just love that. I just love that. By the way, here's the Rory finishes here since that basically recent finishes since his win at Augusta. And, I mean, if you remember, and it's easy to forget this because the Scotty train over the summer, Rory was easily the best player in golf to start the season. Wins at Pebble, wins at Augusta, was like top 5, top 10 all over the place. And some of these finishes, sure, they're top 10s, but with Rory's skill level, he's going to finish top 10 even when he doesn't play well. Just really lackluster golf since the Masters, in my opinion.
Yeah, the Scottish was really the only tournament he was in contention. Just because you look at the Open, he was a million behind Scotty like everyone else. But it's weird. These stats are not. He hasn't driven it well until kind of recently. He drove it well at the BMW Championship, and then I think he led the field driving here at Eastlake. And it's just been a lot of bigger numbers, I would say, which was not the case earlier in the season. At the BMW Championship, he did plenty of scoring, but I think he had 4 double bogeys or worse. And then this week, after he went bogey free on Friday, the bogeys just started to pile up, especially on Sunday too. So just some stuff to clean up for him before the Ryder Cup.
Mentioned Sepp 65-77. One of my favorite things in golf is when you do stuff like that. Just unbelievable swing. I think Sepp finished last. Sepp has just been not great.
You've been anti-Sepp.
Not been great.
Yeah.
He was so good this year. Sepp is I think I could see Sepp playing 2 matches at the Ryder Cup. Maybe that's it. If in fact he's on the Ryder Cup team. Did he qualify or is he on the outside looking in?
He is not. The qualifiers are.
Could he be left off of this team? I think there's potential for him to be left off this team.
I think there is potentially too for like Nikolai Højgaard, who
that's what I'm saying. You bring the Højgaard
the Belfry. Yeah. I think certainly Straka's not a sure thing, I would say, despite having a great year. Speaking of Ryder Cup.
Okay, go ahead. You got breaking news.
Todd Lewis of Golf Channel speaking with @Keegan_Bradley. Follow him on Twitter if you haven't.
He has the underscore. Couldn't get the Twitter handle without the underscore. Come on,
he
Keegan.
Said
get your agent on that.
Some members of @Ryder Cup USA told him they want him to be a playing captain. He also said, quote, there's probably going to be a few guys that think they're going to be on the team that aren't going to be.
Well, that's kind of how it goes. when there's 6 spots, some guys are going to be on and some guys are not going to be on.
It's like that that Instagram page Spotted in DC, and someone's like, just saw Joe Biden by the White House, and it's like, yeah, likely place for him to be.
Probably where he's going to be. Just on Sepp, obviously wins Truist, then misses the cut at the PGA, plays really well at Memorial, finished 3rd there, misses the cut by $1 million at the U.S. Open, won top 10 since early June, and that was at the Scottish Open. Played mediocre at the Open Championship. Not great. Finishes last at the Tour Championship. Listen, this is not a great Sepp Straka golf course in Bethpage Black. And I just think when you're Luke Donald and you've got this many big boy, what'd you call it? What was the big boy barometer?
The big boy barometer.
When you've got this many big boy barometer boys, OI boys, Sepp, I could see Sepp being left off. And I don't think it'd be shocking. I think he was a lock, 3 months ago, but stuff changes and some of the other guys are playing better golf.
Yeah, I think it would just have to be for Nikolai with that last finish. And it'll be interesting. I think that's really the one spot that's up for grabs now that Rasmus is he shored up his spot. That would have been another spot potentially. So it could have been a tougher decision for Luke Donald. Here's the question, Shane. Rory mentioned over the weekend that they still use that Ryder Cup group chat from Rome quite often. If you are Team Europe, do you start a new one or do you add and subtract, given that it's only going to be one, maybe 2 players?
Tough drop if you get dropped from the chat and you get the notification and the tweets don't come in. That is, I think you have to start a new one.
I agree.
I'm surprised they haven't started a new one to this point, but I just think that's a little cutthroat. If you just you're off the chat. Sorry, man. See you later. Have a good summer. Producer Josh is saying we have a format set for the Ryder Cup. Is that official? Do we have the format in terms of the way the scorings or the way the what is it? What do they call it? The 4-ball foursomes are going to go?
Foursomes in the morning, 4-ball in the afternoon.
Foursomes in the morning. So that means alt shot in the morning, 4-ball, which is best ball in the afternoon on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And then on Saturday, it's same thing. Okay.
Yeah. Which, Keegan Bradley can set the lineups early, send the boys off for alternate shot. And then in the afternoon, he can just worry about his own golf ball, play some golf in 4-ball.
I think we should talk a little Ryder Cup. I think that's probably important here. As we've mentioned, Americans locked in are Scotty, Spahn, Xander, Russell. Russell's so good, man. He might be the second best player on the American squad. Harris, English, and Bryson, I didn't show up alongside Brooks Koepka, DeChambeau are the top 6 on that list. On the outside looking in are Justin Thomas, Morikawa, Ben Griffin, Mav McNeely. Mav McNeely, by the way, we'll get into him in a bit. Very impressive season. Captain Keegan, 11. B. Harmon sneaking into that 12th position. Andrew Novak has kind of fallen off a little bit at 13. Your boy Cam Young at 14. Patrick Cantlay at 15. Burns at 16. That's as far down as I'm going to go. Patrick, I need your 6. Give me your 6. Who is Keegan picking on Wednesday to fill out this roster?
I'm hearing some crazy things, seeing some crazy things on the message boards that I monitor, Shane, which I probably shouldn't be on my work computer, but my 6 are the same since the onset of the playoffs.
Okay.
JT, Ben Griffin, Morikawa, Cantlay, Young, and Keegan Bradley. And it's funny, Shane, the Keegan Bradley situation reminds me of this comedy show I went to this past winter. The comedy scene in Charleston, as you can imagine, not great. Not a big city, not a lot of talent.
Heavy food is not funny food. You know what I'm saying? Like when you eat a lot of heavy food, you don't want to laugh. You just want to lay. Yeah.
And so the way comedy shows work, you have the openers who are up and coming, trying to prove themselves before the main act. And there's an MC, typically the owner of the club.
Yeah.
And so these opening acts, a lot of them are just like not funny. Some of them are doing a lot of crowd work, which I think is a sign of a lazy comedian. Someone who's not actually funny. But the star of the show ended up being the MC. who started just making fun of the other comedians.
Oh, now that's good. That's good comedy.
Yeah, that was good comedy, like quick on his feet, kind of crowd work adjacent, but I respected it. And the owner, the MC in this instance, is Keegan Bradley, right? He shouldn't have been the star of the show. You had the opening acts who are kind of like the captain's picks, the guys who should really complement the main act, who are your 6 automatic qualifiers. And all of a sudden, Keegan Bradley stole this show with some really good play. And I think, based on what I'm seeing, Shane, and what has happened, Keegan Bradley is going to be on this Ryder Cup team.
Going to be on the team. I honestly, and you and I have said this the last few weeks, if anybody else outside of this would have played great, I think Keegan could have gotten bumped. I will say, and listen, this is no breaking news situation. The Euros approach the Ryder Cup playing chess and the Americans play checkers. I mean, it is a huge difference in our entire approach. Obviously, Bryson's kind of pushing to get an opportunity to play on the PGA Tour or whatever he's been pushing for. Is he trying to play the Napa event? Is that what he's asking to do?
I don't know what that quote was. I didn't read too much into it just because I can't believe people gave it oxygen.
Yeah, but I mean, he's but he's like the Europeans would have done this. We're not. I mean, obviously the live thing is very different. But honestly, nobody in that sphere to me has outplayed Keegan for the spot, and I think that's the big difference. I do love how much the Europeans have leaned into. You can't be a captain in a
oh my God,
player.
It's everyone.
It's so good.
I got an email about Sam Torrance saying it this morning. Like,
yes,
from top to bottom.
Rory diving into it.
Faldo's it'd be idiotic.
Yeah, dumbest decision in Ryder Cup captain history, I think, was maybe what Faldo said. I love it. But, I look at, let's go 10 through 16. And outside of Cantlay, Burns has played fine. Burns has played solid. But I'd say outside of that, I just don't see somebody that has made some crazy push. Wyndham Clark had that run for a bit, and it felt like maybe he could do something and just didn't quite get there. But I feel like Keegan needed to get bumped off after the Travelers win, and just nobody's really bumped him, and I think that's the biggest hang up here if you're Bradley.
And my thing is, at this point, I think it's more of a distraction if he doesn't pick himself.
100%.
It's going to be 6 players answering for his potential player, just him answering for his play.
Yeah.
And so he can kind of shield the other 11 guys because, I mean, he's not going to tell us who the last man on the team was, even though that would be sick if he had to. He's like, yeah, number 7 guy, that's going to be Justin Thomas. 12, Morikawa, barely got it. Last phone call.
It's like the whole MySpace top 5 friends thing.
Yes.
It's just seemed like kind of a rude thing to do, right?
Yes.
You're outside, man. You're not on my top 5. A lot of young people right now are going, what is that? I don't know what that website is.
And then you look at, we talk about the big boy barometer, and you go based on, let's just say, wins. Since the start of the 2022-23 season, there's one guy on this U.S. team who has more wins than Keegan Bradley. It's Scotty Scheffler, who has more wins than everyone. No one else. Like, think about these guys. Morikawa hasn't won in 3 years. Cantlay hasn't won in 3 years. JT has that one win at Harbortown. McNeely and Young both have 1 wins in their career. Griffin has 1 solo win in his career.
Yeah.
Everyone else, like, no one has won. Sam Burns hasn't won a stroke play event since 22. So, yeah.
Let me ask you. I got a question I want to throw your way, and I'm glad you're sitting down for this. And I don't think it's a crazy question. You mentioned that there might be some surprises on this American team. Is Colin Morikawa on this team? Are we sure he's on this team? Are we 100% sure he should be in the red, white, and blue?
I thought you were going to ask if there's a possibility that if Keegan Bradley plays, President Donald Trump takes some of the captain's responsibilities there at Bethpage Black. He will be on site.
That would not surprise me. That would not surprise me.
I will say there's more than a 50% chance he gives a speech in the locker room.
Oh, I mean, more 100% chance. What are you talking about? There's a 100% chance he's going. He's going to talk.
Those dirty Europeans.
It's pretty good. But let me go back to my Colin question. Is Colin? Let's just real quick. Can we look at Colin's finishes since the start of the year? Like, look at this guy's finishes right here. Look at this. This guy is a lock.
It's a fair question.
Look at this. It's not good. Very bad. He finished second in 2 of his first 4 starts. Did not have another top 5 this year. Last top 5 was Bay Hill. It's like T50 at the PGA, 23rd at the U.S. Open, missed the cut at the Open, can't putt, doesn't hit it long. Like we're just putting this guy on. Diva. Who knows what caddy's going to bring? Might change caddy every round at the Ryder Cup. Like, what are we doing with this? We're just putting him on because of what he did 4 years ago.
Well, it's almost the European model, right? Where they would take their guys even if they're out of form. I guess my question is, who's the alternative to him? Like, would you rather have someone like Sam Burns? Would you rather have someone like, I don't know, Brian Harmon, who's on the bubble here, Ben Griffin over Colin Morikawa? And
I might rather have Goddard up. I'll say that.
Okay. It is. I will say he is down to 27 on Data Golf, sandwiched by Corey Connors and Ricky Fowler.
I mean, Ricky. Like,
Ricky
Fowler. Who's not getting mentioned on this team? Ricky Fowler.
Ricky Fowler. I mean, to Ricky's credit, he's higher than Hatton and Spieth and Goddard up.
And let me tell you this too: if I have an 8-footer on the 17th green at the Ryder Cup to continue a match, I'm taking Ricky over Colin. That's for sure.
Yeah. And I did not love what he had to say after his round.
Don't like anything he has to say. So
where
that makes sense.
They asked him what he needs to improve on, Shane, and he said his iron play.
Colin said that?
Colin said his iron play.
Is he the worst quote in golf? Is he the worst quote in golf right now?
You know, I've grown to kind of appreciate how he seems to zag a lot, which it's just
that is a zag.
Yeah,
his only skill right now is iron play.
He's like, my iron play is not good enough. So if Morikawa was left off this team, like, does Morikawa give you an emotional boost? Anything energy wise?
No,
not really.
No, 0%.
And if this guy isn't even confident in his one superpower, also, it's like, why should we be confident in him at all? So I'm okay leaving Morikawa off the team. Who would you put on the team instead?
That's the rebuttal, and that's the smart rebuttal. It's easy to pick all this stuff apart about Colin, but you've also got to replace him with somebody else, and that's the hard part. So to me, begrudgingly, he's on the team. Yeah. And that's simply because there's not, like, Koepka's non-existent. DJ's non-existent. Like, all these guys that in theory you would have expected to continue to Spieth out of Spieth's not on this team, right? It's like all of those kind of quote unquote faces and names that you thought might be on this team. 3 of the big names and faces are all not going to get picked. Patrick Reed not going to get picked, right? All these guys that have experience. And so you've got to put somebody there. And I think the other argument in Colin's favor is there are going to be a lot of American rookies on this team. Yeah. And if you take Morikawa off, you've probably got to put somebody on there with experience, like, and that Harmon? Just doesn't exist on the sheet.
Like, you want to put Harmon on the team instead of Colin Morikawa?
I got JT Colin. I got Ben Griffin. I got Captain Keegan. I'm with you on Cam Young. I'm with you on Cantlay. I think that's what they're going to do. I think that's where they're going to go. And, you know, and let me just say this too. And I'm going to say this to Team Europe, because Team Europe is flying high right now. They've got all the stars, all the studs, the team. Their team kind of looks like a European version of the Whistling Straits American team, right? Like the Avengers, right, on the European squad. If they don't win this on the American soil, they might never win one on American soil. Like, this is a huge difference in terms of these two teams. Confidence-wise, experience, talent, and the way they play. And we're going to do the power ranking on Wednesday, Patrick. And I'm going to guarantee you that at least in the top 7, I'm going to have 5 Europeans as the top players, and I might have 6. Scotty might be the only American there. And I would be very surprised if the Europeans don't either win or have a really good chance of winning on Sunday singles.
I do agree this is their best chance in quite a while to win on the road here. Back to the Colin Morikawa point. He was 3-0 with DJ, obviously.
Long time ago.
In Wisconsin. And then in Rome, 0-1 with Ricky, 0-1 with Xander, 1-0 with Sam Burns also. So I feel like he's was he with Sam Burns at the President's Cup as well with Scotty Scheffler Yeah. I feel like that has kind of become a partnership of sorts for the
That's the
U.S.
team.
Yeah, with Russell Henley taking Scotty Scheffler to prom now. But I think it really comes down to Shane, the upside of the European team versus the consistency of the U.S. team and Bradley's ability to identify the hot hands and the hot pairings and riding with them. Because I think that's something Zach Johnson did quite poorly, where look, he took chances on JT and Spieth, and then he sat them in the first session out there. It's like, okay, what are we doing? That's like your energy team supposedly, and you sit them in the first session, and then he didn't really give them an opportunity to play separately. Like, you got to break them up. Jordan Spieth was horrible at that Ryder Cup. He was ball in his pocket most of the time. So I think that's really what it's going to come down to. I think outside the ropes, obviously, Europe has an advantage with the continuity and the experience of the leadership team without the noise of the playing captain controversy. But I think with home field advantage and inside the ropes, I think it's closer. I still lean U.S. at this point.
Wow. Interesting. European side, Rory, Bobby Mack, Fleetwood, Jay Rose, Erasmus Højgaard, Tyrrell Hatton, qualification top 6. I think we both have Lowry on the team, Ludwig on the team, Victor on the team, Fitzy on the team. You got Fitzy on the team?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And then obviously Sepp is at 8. I think Sepp's probably on the team, even though we talked about it earlier. If there's somebody that would be a surprise on their team, that's probably the one you'd leave off. I didn't love that our boy Ari All was out there to celebrate with Tommy. I think Tommy walked right past him. How do you walk past that guy in that hat?
Did
Didn't
he?
see it. At least the camera didn't catch a high five or a hug.
They're blocking him out, man.
You know who Harry All is, man. He's wearing that thing. You can't miss him. I would love Ari All to be on the team just because I like saying his name. And then I think that last spot is up for grabs. Who do you have as the 12th spot if I just named 11?
So,
or I guess that's 12 if you leave off.
Sepp's on my team.
Yeah, Sepp's on the team. So,
I'm flipping the Højgaards from the 23 team.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. That Europe's pretty much dialed in. There's pretty much one spot on the European side that's up for grabs. And the Americans, obviously, there's a lot of different directions. Let's get to our producer, our man, Josh, the awards for the 2025 PGA Tour Ari All Awesome Year Awards. And these are kind of all over the place. I'm just going to kind of present them. I'm going to start here. This is the I'm Not Mad, I'm Disappointed award for the player this season that just lets you down. And listen, I've already talked a lot about him. I'm just going to lay him out here because I mentioned a lot of the stuff. Collin Morikawa leads this for me. 19 starts, 4 top 10s, didn't win. 2 of his first 4 starts, he finished second. Outside of that, it's been putrid since then. Not really in the hunt at a single major championship. I want more out of this guy. He's a long ways away from the guy that people were predicting would win 5, 6, 7 majors when he burst on the scene out of amateur golf. So Collin is my I'm Not Mad, I'm Disappointed award winner.
Okay, I have Collin for another one.
Okay.
Coming up here. But mine, I'm Not Mad, I'm Just Disappointed. It's Patrick Cantlay, Patty Ice, because coming into every season, Shane, I'm like, this is the year. This is the year he gets into major championship contention. This is the year he's a multiple-time winner. He kind of does this thing at the end of the prior season where he shows you a little bit of skin, gets you all hot and bothered. You're like, oh yeah, he's got the makeup to do something special this upcoming year. 21 wins the FedEx Cup, 22 wins in the playoff, does that thing in Rome that got us going with Rory in the Ryder Cup. 24, he contends at the U.S. Open. Very quietly almost won that U.S. Open, was in the penultimate group there with Rory. And then he does well in the President's Cup in 24 as well. It's like, man, this guy rises to the occasion in some of these team events. Great all-around player. 3 missed cuts in major championships. You don't hear about him all year until the final event. And then even in the final event, kind of threw up a little bit over himself in the final round. So he's my award for that one.
I think he's a good pick. I would probably echo that. He'd probably be second behind Collin for me if I was going to keep going down there. My one thing on Morikawa is I would like him maybe to arm lock next year. You know, we've talked about the putter change, just something. Putt lefty, arm lock, long putter, go Adam Scott
left-handed low?
Left-hand low, I don't care. Try to kick it in, whatever you can do to maybe improve 141st on the PGA Tour in strokes gained putting. I think those 2 are probably the answer. You could include Spieth, I think, there as well. But I think the problem with Spieth is for Jordan, I just don't think we expect a lot anymore. Unfortunately and sadly, I don't think we're sitting here going he's going to win a major with the form he's at. And for Jordan, bucked a little early in the season and just could not sustain it. But those are two pretty good picks, I think. What about the I might have been wrong award for a guy that changed your opinion on him in 2025?
It's Colin Morikawa. Like you mentioned, this is a guy who won, 2 out of his first 8 major championships?
Yep.
Was it something like that? Off to a torrid pace. I've been generally pro Colin Morikawa throughout his career. I knew he had diva-like tendencies. But I think throughout it all, I thought this was a guy who was really sure of himself, sure of his game, sure of everything that comes with being a professional golfer. And we saw him really question that in 2025 between the spats with the media, the caddy carousel with 5 caddies throughout the year, however much it was. And so as a guy who people were predicting to be like a 4 or 5 time major champion, I thought he took a real step back this year. That being said, wouldn't be shocked if he's on the Ryder Cup team and if he plays well, but I just figured he was much more sure of himself as a golfer.
Especially earlier in the year. I mean, I think earlier in the year, you're sitting there going, okay, here we go. Now we're back. Now we're going to rock. And then just could not keep it going. Obviously, it's the irons that are the issue, but wild just to see. I kind of went the other direction. I got Keegan Bradley as mine. I think throughout most of Keegan's career, I kind of saw him as this nervy golfer that at times would kind of freak himself out down the stretch in big events. He reminded me a little bit of, remember when Billy Horschel made the President's Cup team and it just seemed like it was like too big for him?
He was jacked
like
up.
It just, he was like too jazzed up.
Yeah.
Keegan to me kind of felt like that. And this year, in certain moments, it felt like Keegan was excited about the moment. I mean, obviously at the Travelers, we saw that. He's had a ton of pressure on him in terms of playing well. I think as the conversations about being on this team grew, I know the game didn't sustain, but he didn't play terrible golf. He played solid golf after the win, played well at East Lake, top 20 at the BMW. I think Keegan is a little bit of a different player than I thought he was. And I think he probably sees a little bit of that in himself as well. And I think that's why, in a way, he's probably going to pick himself, is I think he knows I do have it in me to step up in these moments when people need me the most.
Yeah, he's turned into a closer, which I don't think he ever really had that type of stigma around him, that description around him. In the last few years, he really has closed tournaments quite well.
All right, we got the Amnesia Award. The Amnesia Award. Let me write down what exactly Josh wrote down. The best season that everyone will forget about before the Pro Core. I think that's a really good way of saying it. I got our boy Russell Henley. 18 starts, 12 top 25s. Got the win earlier this season. Kind of slumped a little after. Played bad in the opening round at Augusta. Missed the cut at the PGA. But a couple top 10s at both the Opens. In the hunt at the Memorial. Finished second at Travelers. Second at East Lake. Extremely consistent this year. 4th in strokes gained total for the year. Easy to kind of forget about the guy just in the way he goes about his business because it's not the sexiest game in the world, but very impressive season for my boy Russell Henley. Didn't win the major that I predicted, but played very good golf.
Almost the season-long champ, almost the Super Bowl champion. Yep. I thought he was going to get it done after that first round. He put out a good stat about his putting woes the last 54 holes, just not making anything compared to his first 18 holes. I have a guy. I get kind of like similar demeanor, I would say, similar kind of game. I said JJ Spawn.
Yeah.
U.S. Open
champion.
I
thought about him.
This is probably going to have to extend beyond the Pro Core, maybe a few years, half a decade, whatever it is. Everyone will remember the U.S. Open victory, be like, oh, yeah, 2025, JJ Spawn won at Oakmont. But I think we'll forget the Players' Championship playoff and the St. Jude Championship playoff as well, knowing that this guy was only a couple rolls or a couple bounces away from maybe having an all-time season. And so that was the one that I think people will forget beyond the Pro Core, not quite the Pro Core.
Yeah, producer Josh said would have paid $1 million for one of you guys to say Joaquin Niemann. These are PGA Tour awards, but I think Joaquin Niemann is a great pick there as well. What did he win? Did he win like 3 or 4 times on LIV?
5 of 13.
He won 5 times.
He's got 9 wins these last 2 years,
and got that top 10 at the majors. Here he comes, snuck into the top 10 there. You mentioned the Russell putting stat: 207 feet of putts on Thursday, 151 feet of putts the next 3 rounds combined. Fell off a little there. I like the Spawn pick. The only reason I didn't pick him is I do think the putt on 18 at Oakmont will live for a long time. Just an incredible putt, obviously, from our fella. Launchpad Award. Guy's going to take a big old step in 2026. Who you got?
I got Cameron Young.
Okay.
That's right. A guy who
considered him.
Improved mightily on the greens, a top 10 putter on the PGA Tour this year. Obviously got the monkey off his back at the Wyndham Championship, and a guy who's always played well at major championships throughout his career. He's played well at a variety of golf courses, which I think is very impressive. And so wasn't 100% healthy, I would say, in the middle of the year, but got his way through U.S. Open qualifying, which I think did a lot for him with a pretty star-studded playoff that was there in Ohio. And I think Cam Young is back in major championship contention in 2 of them next year, Shane.
I got Matt McNeely here, 24 starts, 7 top 10s, 20 of 24 cuts made. You look at his stats, they're sneaky impressive, kind of positive across the board. Hits it far enough, ton of fairways, good iron player, good putter, pitches the golf ball well as well. Kind of, to me, feels like a poor man's Tommy Fleetwood. Is that fair, do you think?
Okay.
And I could see a Ben Griffin season for Mav next year, maybe a couple wins, makes the President's Cup team. Still not off the Ryder Cup team, by the way, for Matt McNeely. I don't think he's going to get picked, but if he did, I don't think I'd fall out of a chair considering the way he has played this season. I think Matt McNeely has a big 26.
Yeah, I like that one. A lot better ball striking campaign. Kind of end of the fall into this year, working with I think, who is it? Scotty Ham, perhaps. Could be wrong there, but I like that one.
Yeah, you said it confidently, so I think you're probably right. What about the Data Golf Award? A guy who had a year, but the stats say he's impressive. Who do you have for the Data Golf Award?
When I think Data Golf, Data Boys, statistics only, one name comes to mind, Shane. It's Corey Connors. It's always Corey Connors.
Man.
He's a statistical darling. He just needs a hot putting week. Corey Connors, when all is said and done in the history books, we'll look at the FedEx Cup rankings after East Lake, and this guy finished 4th in the season-long race. Even when I was going through his season, I was like, he did that at the Masters? Oh, he did that too before then? I was like, I don't remember seeing a single Corey Connors shot in 2025. No. But
I don't think there's a Corey Connors shot I remember in my life from Corey Connors. And he's a nice guy. I love Corey Connors. I'm just saying
he's the capital T, the data boy for me in 25.
I got Justin Thomas. I know I'll weigh the majors probably way more than even the nerdiest of golf people. Obviously, I've talked a lot about how bad he's played at the majors, and I know he got the win. I think I look at Justin Thomas as a guy I need more than one victory to say he had a great season. Stats were pretty good for JT. 6 total in strokes gained, 31st approach, 17th putting, which is impressive. Mm-hmm. He was 81st off the tee, but he still gained shots with that stat. And obviously, we've talked about how bad of a driver the golf ball he is right now, and 24th around the greens. Again, I think about JT. I need more than that. I need more than one victory early in the season out of him, and he's continued to struggle so much in the majors. So when I look at Justin Thomas's year, I don't see a great season per se, but the stats would say he's still very, very good at golf, obviously making it to East Lake as well and playing solid there. Is that fair for Justin Thomas?
I think that is fair. I had him tabbed for a different one. So.
Okay. Well, let's move on. The what in the world's going on here award for a player that you just don't really understand what the hell happened in 2025. A lot of names that I thought about for this award.
You go first. All
right. I'm going. I mean, this is Brian Campbell's award. There's nobody else you could put here. This should be called the Brian Campbell Award. 2 wins, next best finish, T32nd. Brian Campbell played 22 events this year, Patrick. He had 2 wins, 2 WDs, 10 missed cuts. And his stat page resembles somebody that is headed not just to the Korn Ferry Tour in 2026, but taking a Spirit Airlines flight back to the Korn Ferry Tour. It was a weird year for one of the rare players to win multiple times on the PGA Tour.
Got to hop on those Spirit tickets quick. I believe they're going out of business here in the next year.
Is that right?
Yeah, I don't believe they can sustain their current financial models, which I'm going to miss those online videos of Spirit flights. That's a good one. I honestly, Brian Campbell wasn't even on my radar for this award. Shame on me.
I thought this was going to be the one we'd pick the same.
No, I went with Sung JM. Okay. I still think we need an audit on these FedEx Cup points and how he made his way into the Tour Championship. I'm not talking Grant Thornton in a PGA Tour partner. We need a third party to come in here, whether that is EY, PWC, whoever it may be. But
It's like the concussion doctor on the sidelines for the NFL.
Exactly. Something's up here. And I threw this stat out to you last week. He lost 165 strokes on approach across the season to Scotty Scheffler. He finished 162nd out of 163 players in strokes gained approach on the year, behind only Will Chandler. But in totality, he lost the most strokes on the PGA Tour with his iron play. If he had gained 1 stroke on approach per tournament, which is a quarter per round, if my math is correct, he'd be gaining nearly 1.6 per round, which makes you a very good PGA Tour player. And even despite that, he somehow made his way to the Tour Championship.
Crazy.
So I don't understand it at all. I don't know how it happened. I don't.
It's kind of the outlier. I'd say I agree with you. I thought that was a crazy thing you brought up last week, and I continue to find it crazy that he's that bad with the iron. I do think they need to go, like, his team needs to go Zurich level and let Willie Wilcox hit the irons and he can hit everything else. It's so weird that he's that bad with the irons, which leads us into a pretty good kind of follow-up to that. It's the Red Stat Column Award for a guy that would have been awesome if not for one part of his game. I kind of cheated a little bit here, Patrick. This is really the one I got a little loose with. Because I went with the entirety of a short game, and I went Victor Hovland.
Okay.
13th tee to green, second in approach. He was 126th around the greens and 103rd in putting, and still had a pretty good year. If you look at what Victor Hovland was able to do, we've always talked about the pitching and putting with him, but Victor Hovland has not been a bad putter throughout his career. He was bad on the greens this year, second in approach, and just if he misses a green, he's going to make bogey.
Yeah, his iron play was ridiculous this year, made up for a lot of mistakes. This is my Justin Thomas stat, even though technically not in the red, but the worst driving season of his career. We saw that a lot at East Lake. I would say, like you mentioned, number 17 on the PGA Tour in strokes gained putting. He was almost a bottom 10 putter on the PGA Tour last season, and off the tee play is most indicative to success. Fairway in, he is an elite level player, and had he driven the ball like he did in 2022, which was pretty average for his career, his strokes gained numbers per round would be north of 2.0, which is elite level stuff. And so I think if he just was able to drive the ball effectively, major championship contention would be in the mix, multiple wins perhaps, and it just really held him back.
All right, Apex Mountain Award, guy that's going to be remembered for his 2025 best year of his life, of his career. Who do you have for Apex 2025 Mountain Award?
So I had this guy tabbed almost for changed my mind, but I was like, I put a description underneath. I was like, he didn't really change my mind. And so I couldn't put him for that one. I think it's Ben Griffin. I think a 2-win season, a couple top 10 finishes in major championships, and a potential Ryder Cup selection is going to be as good as it gets for Ben Griffin. And he does have a message. He sent a video in as well when I told him that he was going to be winning this award.
Oh, nice.
And here you go.
Mishaps last weekend. Look, guys, I had some mishaps last weekend. Creatine overdose, that's not a thing. I was just dehydrated. But I did swallow a creatine rock in my water bottle going down the first fairway.
So I don't think those sponsorship opportunities are really going to be there moving forward, as the well is going to dry up slowly but surely, I think.
Swallowed a rock of creatine. Gotta love it. I think it's a good pick. Probably he's probably his Apex Mountain. I think it's this guy's Apex Mountain as well. You mentioned him earlier, JJ Spawn. I don't think it'd get better than this. Playoff loss of the Players, wins the U.S. Open, playoff loss in the FedEx Cup. Is going to play on the Ryder Cup team. Again, just these are the years you have and you remember forever. And some guys have it, and I mean it's him. It's Ben Griffin, and producer Josh is suggesting maybe Scotty as well with the 2 major wins. It'd be hard to compare. I think it's like an Apex run. I don't think it's an Apex year, but you look at his year last year, and then obviously into this year and all the wins he's had. It's tough to say this is going to be Scotty's best year, but I guess there's an argument to be made if he doesn't have another multi-major win.
Yeah, I mean, he could win 3 in a year for all we know,
I think so,
right?
too. Yeah. I mean, he's going to win another Masters. So if he wins another Masters, he needs to win 2 more. And again, he's going to finish top 5 in all the other ones. So it's like, he's just got to get in himself in contention. I got a Scotty question for you, Patrick. Somebody asked me on Twitter yesterday, when's the last time you were watching golf on a Sunday and Scotty at least wasn't in contention or had a chance to win. I was trying to think about it. I was trying to think about the last time I had that sensation. It
Wyndham.
must have been a major. Was it a major last year?
When he hasn't played the Wyndham Championship? It would have been.
Was it the
most
arrest?
likely Pinehurst number 2?
Okay. Yeah, that's
US
probably
Open,
it.
right?
Yep. Crazy. I mean, it's wild to think that every single time he's right there and in contention, has a chance. This was a good one. This was my favorite one Josh put together. The First Shot Award for a golf shot, a singular golf shot that in the middle of next summer. So you and I are at Shinnecock, the sun's on our shoulders. We put a little SPF on the top of our ears, big spot to make sure you're covering with sunscreen, bad spot for golfers. You're throwing out some takes, maybe about one of the new up and coming amateurs that's in contention through 2 rounds. And I say, hey man, what's the shot from last year that pops up in your head that you think about from 2025? What's that shot?
It is Rory's hook around the tree Sunday at Augusta National for me. I was
15.
there on 15. I was there on Saturday when he hit a ridiculous shot as well, but we were on the right side of the fairway, first Masters ever. I became addicted to not having any phones and not knowing any information. And we're on the right side trying to figure out if this guy's going to lay up. People with binoculars are looking at the club face. They're like, oh, that looks like a pretty lofted club. I think he's just chipping it down. And then someone's like, I don't know. It looks like he's really rearing to go at this one. And he just rips a 7-iron around it. And the sun is kind of setting almost. And you see the grandstand rise like a tide, like a wave in the ocean. And it was one of the coolest moments, probably the coolest moment I've had watching golf in my life.
So you went positive, which I appreciate.
Oh, let's go. No, this is
I
better.
went negative.
Better. Yeah, this is better.
But I went with the same guy at the same golf tournament. I think I'll think about the Rory wedge at 13 for the rest of my life. I will reference it for the rest of my life. It's replaced the Mito Pereira tee shot on the 72nd hole at the PGA. It's kind of the shot I'll think about when somebody just does something awful, under the gun, under pressure. I was on the couch. I'd been calling golf that morning for Masters.com, went back to the rental house. I'm watching the final round with Scott Verplank, who's played in a million Masters, and we are preparing. I'm preparing to talk about the win, and we are emotional, and we're vibing, we're fired up. This guy's finally going to do it. I mean, he obviously hit that shot on 9, and he hit the shot on 10, and it's like, here we go. He got through 12, decides to lay up on 13, and then the wedge. I will never forget that golf shot. I will never forget it. Just going right. He could hit it anywhere left and make par. And he hits it right.
So we followed him 10, 11, 12. And we're like, all right, he makes par on 12. Let's get ahead of him. 13, par at worst, most likely. And so we're on the fairway on 14. And this guy who covers, oh gosh, I'm forgetting his name. He's from across the pond though, because I remember the accent. And he's like out of breath, running where you're not allowed to run. And we're like, oh,
no running at Augusta.
We're like, what did Rory do on 13? He goes, laid the sod over the wedge, made double. Rosie's made 2 birdies in a row. It's a tie game. We're like, okay, what actually happened on 13? And he's like in a complete state of disarray. Yeah. Almost, it was either sweat or tears at that point for him. And so I'm so bummed that I missed that one live.
By the way, we were both at Augusta. I don't know if we mentioned that, but yeah, we were
in
there.
fact,
no
there.
Big deal. Those were the ones. I mean, I love that we both went to Rory. Again, I think that says a lot about the year when both of our minds go to the guy that obviously completed the career Grand Slam and won an event. It felt like he was never going to win, and sure felt like he wasn't after the wedge on 13. And then maybe felt like he was with the second into 15. Wish he would have made that putt. That'd have been awesome if he'd have rolled that one in. All right, and this one was fun. I like this a lot. We're going to wrap it up here. Show's going a little longer, but you know what? We got a lot to talk about. The Scotty stat. Your favorite 2025 Scotty Scheffler, best player in the world, number 1 by a wide margin. Nobody compares to him. The Scotty stat that's your favorite from the season.
This one was tough. I think probably the toughest one of the category. So kudos to Josh here. And I settled on, of his 5 wins, his best statistical performance from a strokes gained perspective was not the BMW Championship. It was not either of the major championships or the Memorial. His best strokes gained tournament in 2025, a year of history for Scottie Scheffler, was the CJ Cup Byron Nelson. When paired against the peasants and plebeians of the PGA Tour, Scottie Scheffler stuffed those fools in a locker for his best statistical performance of the year. So that's what I landed on.
All right, so I thought about, I was up early this morning. Kids wake up crazy early. They just wake up. It's so ridiculous. I mean, our neighbors' kids sleep till 8. They tell us sometimes they have to wake the kids up. My kids are up at like 5:30 and 6. It's insane. I thought about digging through Justin Ray's Twitter and just pulling something out. Our guy Justin Ray, part of the show this year,
Scottie Scheffler,
one of our favorite people in all of golf. He's basically Scotty's stat guy at this point, considering what Scotty's doing. But I said I can't do that. I mean, I can't just take a Justin Ray stat. I mean, I could have gone with the consecutive rounds of the 60s, the top 8 finishes, all that stuff that he's done that's tying records that have been around for 30 and 50 and 70 years. But I went here because I thought this was crazy. I went with Scottie Scheffler scoring. Here's Scotty's ranks across the entire PGA Tour in terms of scoring per round this season. Round 1 scoring. His scoring average in the first round, 67.32, first on the PGA Tour. Round 2 scoring this season, 68 on the dot. That's first on the PGA Tour, Patrick. Round 3 scoring, 68.63, second on the PGA Tour. Round 4 scoring, 68.16, that's second on the PGA Tour. So in the round scoring, first, second. Now, just for fun, just continuing the scoring. And like, again, how do you tell the story of Scottie Scheffler? You dive into some of the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Par 3 scoring this year. Scoring average on par 3s this season. Under par, 2.98. That's third on the PGA Tour.
That's tough
Par
to do.
4 scoring, 3.90 for the season. That's first on the PGA Tour. Par 5, you thinking Rory? He hits it long, right? Doesn't Rory beat it? Miles down the fairway. No. It's Scotty, 4.44. That's first. Let me continue. Front 9 scoring average this season. Scottie Scheffler was first. Back 9 scoring average this season. Scottie Scheffler was first. Oh, and like, you know how sometimes we talk about the waves when you go out early and you go out late and you think about the conditions, the conditties, as they say. You know, some guys get blown off a golf course. Early scoring average for Scotty, he was first this season. Late scoring average, he was first this season. I think Scotty's the best golfer in the world.
So I have some questions for you here.
Let's go.
Bad weekend golfer. Only second in round 3 and round 4.
Can't get it done. Can't get it done in the clutch. We saw it at Eastlake.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I do love the number 1 front 9, number 1 back 9.
So stupid. Everything is so dumb. It's like when you roll through his scoring stat page, it's just a whole bunch of ones is what it is.
Yeah. That's
so that is it. I mean, that's our producer Josh. Congrats to that, Josh. Way to do with that. That was very well done. Some very creative ones in there. If you're a commenter on YouTube, you could throw your answers in there as well. I don't know. We don't typically ask for that stuff. Patrick will probably chirp you if you go after him there, but that's kind of where we're at. Make sure you chirp Patrick about some of his picks as well, or maybe go after him about his Tommy Fleetwood take. But the show's over an hour. Like I said, we're going to be back Wednesday. Patrick, to kind of talk and react to the Ryder Cup. We were going to get on a little Ryder Cup stuff here. And I know we picked our teams, but I figured we'd save a lot of it for Wednesday. But I'd say overall, like if you were going to talk about a PGA Tour season, this felt like an A season.
10 out of 10. I mean,
yeah, Rory, Scotty, JT had moments. You think about Hideki to start the year. What did he shoot? 31 under par, something crazy there. Just felt like every event had a little bit of buzz kind of outside of the playoffs. Everything was pretty awesome. And even some of the lesser than golf tournaments had great moments on the weekend. So, I mean, all in all, I'd say this was a huge year for the PGA Tour.
Yeah, Rory, Scotty, 8 different winners in the signature events, which a year after Scotty won half of them, I think helps. You have the story of Keegan Bradley throughout the year as well. And then you gift wrap it at the end with Tommy Fleetwood. Before we get out of here, Shane.
Yep.
One hot take for what's going to happen when Keegan Bradley announces his picks. What's one out of the box thing you think could happen on Wednesday?
Well, I mean, I think the easy hot take is that he picks himself. I think, all right, I got one for you.
Yeah.
I'll go here. I don't think there's a non-zero chance he takes Jordan Spieth. That's what I'll say.
Okay.
I think Jordan Spieth could be picked here. He's a face. He played well at Bethpage in 2019. I know it's a long time ago. Obviously, popular figure. I wrote about him a couple of weeks ago about kind of falling off in terms of him being the predicted, next thing in Ryder Cup American Golf by Phil Mickelson a few years back. He's been a big part of this event for so many years, and I think he'd get the fans into it. So I think there's a non-zero chance Jordan Spieth, the surprise pick for Keegan.
I like that. Mine is Ben Griffin is left off the team.
Yeah.
That's
if it's Jordan or Burns, Griffin's gone, right?
Yeah, I think he's been so rock steady this summer outside of really the Open and the John Deere where he missed the cut, where I think a lot of people are just like, you have to take this guy, right? I wouldn't be like completely shocked if he's left off.
It'll be interesting. I mean, it's a weird position for Keegan. Obviously, considering the fact if he didn't put himself in the mix here, it'd be a lot less weird for him. But it's going to be a very interesting Wednesday. I will continue with the ratings thing we've seen this season. The ratings going to be high on this pick show.
Oh, yeah.
People are going to watch this. They're going to be tuned in, and they're going to want to see what direction he goes. Let me ask you this. If he picks himself, what's the verbiage? Is it going to go Tiger and say, now I pick what did Tiger's like, I pick myself, or I think he actually said his name. I'm going to pick Tiger Woods. Yeah. Is that what Keegan does?
Do you think he puts it last or first? Last, right?
Last. Yeah.
Last.
Yeah. Producer Josh is saying I'm taking my talents to Bethpage, which would be an epic way to do it.
And with my last pick, I've decided that I'm going to be playing for Team USA.
Yeah, or like runs a video of his own highlights would be pretty sick as well. Like just here, push play, gets the producer to push the play in the background, and it's just the putt at the Travelers,
DJ,
reactions. He gets some DJ to like just get crazy with it. It'll be fun. Like I said, back on Wednesday, check back on the YouTubes. Thank you all for kind of following along. This has been a lot of fun this season. We're going to keep rolling along as the golf tournaments come our way. Patrick, I've really enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun chatting with you. You've easily become one of my favorite people in all of golf media, both on the socials and off. I really like the chirping. I really like the creativity in and around it. And like I said, if you like it, share it. Do all the stuff they tell you to do on this thing. Smash the buttons. We smash them if we like them, right? Smash them, then buy a new computer. And check back on Wednesday, post picks for a little bit of a recap show.